Namu Myoho Renge Kyo. Thanks for being here. All right, this is a tough one. I've talked about this in many different ways, but just for this, the purposes of this video, this question comes up to all of us, whether we just started practicing or we've been practicing 40 years or more. How do you teach other people? When's the time right? When do you know how to approach somebody? When do you know how to, or whether somebody is open to be taught, to learn about Buddhism, to learn about Myoho Renge Kyo specifically? There's a lot of different information, different groups, different philosophies about doing that. But if we go by the teachings themselves, which, as you know, I'm quite strict about, as Nichiren was, as Tendai was, as every great teacher, and I don't mean to qualify myself as a great teacher, I'm just saying that my model for discussing Buddhism with you is these great teachers. And the one thing they have in common, all of the really important teachers of Buddhism, including Shakyamuni, is that we live in a time now when everyone has the capacity to understand and teach themselves and learn their Buddha nature, their Buddhahood, Myoho Renge Kyo. Everyone. So the first obstacle, whether or not somebody's ready or capable of understanding Buddhism, that's just not a question anymore. It's just, that's an obstacle we're making up in our own minds to keep us from doing something, because what we really are is lacking confidence. That's the core. That's the core of anything, if you think about it. If you want to transmit knowledge to another person, look at it this way. If you go eat at a restaurant, I don't care if it's fast food or fine dining, and you have a horrible experience, and you wait a good long time before friends or whatever influence you to go try it again, and you go again, and it's horrible. Whatever, the food, the service, whatever. It's just a horrible experience. The next time somebody comes up to you and go, hey, you want to go to that restaurant tonight? Will you have any compunction or difficulty trying to convince them that it's a bad idea? Think about that for a moment. How quickly will your face go from, where do you want to go to eat? Oh, there? I mean, you won't even have to say a word, right? Not there. They this, that. Well, man, you won't care if they think you're rude. You're not going to eat there again. No way. No problem, right? Because you're convinced. Your conviction is strong. Your resolve is, I ain't going there. I will go to there rather than there. That's how much I'm not going there. Right? It's all about conviction, about how much confidence you have in your opinion, in what you know, what your experience is. So, first thing, to answer the question of when do you know, how do you know, how much do you know, how to approach somebody, those are all questions you really should be turning around and asking yourself. Why are you second guessing yourself? If those questions are really impeding you from discussing Buddhism with someone else you know, then you need to directly go to Gohonzon, sit in front of this mandala, and demand to know. I mean demand. No uncertain terms. Not with anger, but with real determination. I need to know. Namo Myoho Renge Kyo. It won't take long. You'll walk away from that Daimoku session inflated with confidence. And you won't even know why. But that's what it's about. Especially if it's someone you deeply care about. Maybe you're in a relationship with them. That's the one where you need the most confidence, isn't it? Especially if you're not sure that they're interested at all. But look, if you're in a relationship with somebody, especially a close relationship, then aren't you sensitive and curious about what your partner is interested in? Even if you don't think you're interested in such a thing, don't you have some kind of an empathy for a partner who's doing it? Aren't you the least bit curious? Even as a protective measure. My partner is really into this. I'd kind of like to have a clue about it to see if he's not doing something that maybe is harmful to him or her, right? So maybe they feel that way about you, especially if you do what I just did. If you go to Gohanzen and you get that confidence, their curiosity is going to be there. Even if they don't express it. Inside, they're going, man, it's really changing him or her, right? It's really affecting her. What is she doing? Right? Think about it. Or don't think about it. Just do it. Nichiren, Shakyamuni, they all say, teach Buddhism to the best of your ability. Why? There's a lot of reasons for that. I hate why, just like I hate how. As a question, it's very unsatisfying. But ask yourself, if you're in a relationship of any sort, whether it's close or casual with people, it's because you're karmically related. Remember, we're energy. And energy flows like water flows. It draws from around itself. It repels stuff that isn't akin to it. So we're all, if they're in your environment, then they are all in the same karmic well as you. They all have different motivations and movements, but they're all within the same pool. So there's commonality there. Sometimes commonality is very opposition-like. But as a Buddhist who sees clearly, understand that that's just more the same. So they're not in a place where they can understand it. But that doesn't mean they can't be influenced by it, because they're all part of the same pool. So you influence people. You observe in conversations where things start to look very similar. And when questions come back that you're not ready for, then you go, don't let it throw you. Just go, wow, that's a really interesting question. I know how I feel about that, or I'm not sure how I feel about that, but I know I can find the answer. If you'll give me a little time, I'll come back to you on that. So, give yourself outs. You're not Shakyamuni Buddha. You're not Nichiren. Don't expect that anything that comes out at you, which we don't know people's karma. They may come up with a question that, whew, wow, now I know something else about you. Let me chew on that for a bit. I'll get back to you. You don't have to have the answer ready at hand. Sometimes people ask questions just to see if they can rattle you. So if you remain unrattled, that's quite an answer in itself, isn't it? That shows what? Confidence. Relationships are about confidence, let's face it. And your practice of Buddhism is no different. Buddhism is about living this life well. What could be more confidence creating? I remember I went through a period where I wasn't sure how to approach people because part of me just wanted to be so respectful to their point of view. And then I wrote a book. I read a book by a rabbi who, it was a book on Kabbalah, or Kabbalah, however you pronounce it. No disrespect. And the book talked a lot about sparks, and that the word God was actually a verb, that we are Godding. And I thought, it's very interesting, although there's a lot of mystical stuff in the Kabbalah. There are some things that are very, very experiential and validating of this life, this you and me, this thingness that we are, right? And in that way, I found it kind of entertaining that there were some Buddhist concepts kind of hidden in different clothes in there. And I'm not saying Kabbalah stole from Buddhism or vice versa or any of that. I'm just saying there's a commonality of man and our identification with life and our reticence about life. And it's through all of these different things. And I studied a lot of philosophies and different religions. And, it's easy to draw a lot of similarities between many of them. But the similarities aren't really about those different books or religions or philosophy. They're about how our human mind works. And I keep coming back to Buddhism because Buddhism from the get-go says, okay, we're going to figure out how this mind works. That's the crux of everything. So sometimes it's important to be an influence of commonality. But one thing that you can also have a card to play is that there's just no mysticism in Buddhism. There's no worshiping, there's no mysticism, there's no take it on faith, there's no magical thinking. Buddhism is a study of how your mind works and why you suffer with your mind, why your mind creates these obstacles for you, and how you can abate them. And by abating obstacles, it makes sense, you get a broader, more expansive, more breathful appreciation and experience of life in its entirety. See, and I said all of that without once relying on quotes from sutras or fancy wording or the 5 this, the 3 that, the 10 that. Buddhism is life. So gain confidence, go to Gohanzen, make yourself confident, demand that you have clarity, invoke your Buddha nature, and treat those people you talk to like they're your children. Love them that way. When you answer a question about Buddhism, don't be condescending, but send that energy to them of embrace. Oh, what a wonderful question. Let me tell you what I know, what I've experienced. Let me give you a source. But more than that, don't just give them reading material, because that's what they're avoiding by asking you a question. They're demonstrating their love and their attachment to you. So respect that tenfold. Even if it's a tiny little answer. You don't have to be verbose. Oh, Buddhism's so simple. It's just about how your mind works. Try it with me. Let's sit down and we'll chant together. Say this correctly. Namu Myoho Renge Kyo. Look right there at the candy cane at the top of near the top of what it says in the Gohanzen. Namu Myoho Renge Kyo. Right on the Myo character there. Just focus there and chant this with me. We'll get a little galloping rhythm going. See what it does to you. Just try it. That's all you need to do. We can talk about it afterward, or we can go watch a movie. You don't need to be a scholar. Just see how it feels. Keep it simple. Keep it loving. Keep it inclusive. Okay? Thanks for participating. My podcasts are available all over the place. If you can make more time, comments are for your education to me. So ask questions. Give me other topics. Take care of yourselves. Namo Myoho Renge Kyo. Bye.